And you are good start whenever you're good and ready.
Okay. Well, welcome to this edition of Spokane News with Ken Adams. And as you can see on the screen, we've got red and red backing, red outfit. And we have Eileen. I'm going to get the name wrong. Say your last name.
Sobjack.
Subject. I forgot to ask about the last name. I asked for the first name, and then, down here below is in print, very small for me. That's what happens when you turn 76. Some things get really small. It's not my eyes, it's everything small. Anyway, you're the president of a 2-year term for the National Federation of Republican Women. This is going to be a good year for a lot of Republican women, isn't it?
It is. It is. We are banking on a red wave. That's our branding this year. And it is already looking fantastic as we're going through some of the primaries and special elections. Just had 2 of our Republican women. They are members of clubs. Connie Conway in California and Myra Flores in Texas just were elected in their special elections. And quite a number of Republican women that are running. We've been assessing that, and yeah, this is I'm planning on a great year.
Okay. Why do you think we're seeing? I mean, even CNN is admitting that they think there's going to be a red tsunami this fall, and I happen to agree with that for a lot of reasons. Maybe not some of the same reasons they do. But why are we headed that direction, do you think? Nationally and locally too, because I know you're involved with a lot of local things. And you're from this state, the state of Washington. Yes.
Yep. Yes, first national president from Washington State, and I hope there will be more in the future. Well, it just seems like our country has unraveled since with this present administration. I mean, the inflation, highest in 40 years.
Yes.
And gas prices, the average family is going to pay an additional $635 last month alone. It's going to cost probably $7,620 over the next year, even if prices stop increasing altogether. That is just awful. When I think of when I was a young parent and we had a small business, and how you just put everything into your family and your business. This is just, it's just awful. So, and then the crime that is just being allowed, and what they're doing with our, just wanting to defund our police, all of these things, and parental rights. When we went through the last 2 years with the pandemic, and parents were on Zoom calls, they were finding out what is happening in the schools, and they don't like it. And we see many of our moms that are stepping up to be involved in these elections to elect Republicans.
I think a lot of that is our fault as men and women, that we have in the school. I'm talking about the school issues, because we've thought all along that things were going okay. Our kids were learning some of the basics and so forth. And then we really had an eye into what was really going on at 2 levels. One with the unions, school union, the teachers unions, but the other is at the school boards. And unfortunately, and I know you'll agree with this, we have kind of put the school board elections on the back side burner. It's never been a top priority. I'm going to guess from this day on, we're going to see school board elections be much more important. And I hope they are, asking the right questions. I mean, we had this, and you may be following it since you're from here. We had the issue here in Spokane about the schools not reporting to either the police department or the FBI, and they're both investigating now some of the discipline problems in the schools. And one of the liberal folks here in town said, oh, but it should all be taken care of by the school board because we have a diverse school board. I don't care about the diverse school board. I care about following the law.
Yeah, that's what we need to do. And You're right. The other side is good about putting up the candidates for, from everything of dog catcher to getting on these county council committees to
Right.
getting on the school boards. And that's where the decisions are made. And for the parents that were outside the door during this time, couldn't even come in if they weren't masked or whatever, now they're understanding, and they're understanding that they need to step up and they need to run for these positions and be involved. They've got to get on the
Absolutely.
inside if things are going to change.
We need some good people. And at least here in the Spokane area, and I think it's true in most areas, we've been very supportive of the capital projects for schools and so forth. Those are going to get a second look now because of what the school board has been doing and their volunteer committees, which is often made up of liberals. I've served on them years ago, and I know where they come from and so forth. So it's time to make some changes. I'm glad to see the Republican women really take an active role, and both in supporting candidates throughout the country and so forth. How do we, all of us, because it's not just your responsibility and the local area's responsibility, but how do all of us encourage more women to step up these days and take that leadership role?
Well, I'll tell you, we've been doing that since 1938. We have over 65,000 women as members, did last year. We're going to surpass us this year. There's just so much momentum. We're in 47 states and we have over 1,200 clubs. So we're truly a grassroots organization. And what our mission is to empower women politically so they can get in and get involved. We provide leadership. We provide a campaign school. We just finished up our campaign school and revamped our manual. And we had over 895, I think, that were involved in the campaign school. And we'll take that to the states, or we did this one virtually. And we're still getting calls that people want information on that. That's how you do it, is having that grassroots. And our ladies are professional volunteers, I like to say, because after they receive the training that's provided in our clubs and through our state and our national organization, they are professional, but they're still doing it and putting in their time because they care about their country.
Now, we have a chapter here in Washington State.
Yes, you do. You have one in Spokane, Washington. You also have
right.
your Congressman Kathy McMorris Rogers has been a longtime member of that club. And the Spokane club is a very active one.
Okay. And so let's all get behind her and support, even the guys. We can be supportive too. Okay.
Yes, you can.
Because I'll tell you, one of the things that I enjoy about my job here is that I get to talk to people. Sometimes I even let them talk, and that the staff kids me about that. But I come across a lot of very smart people, men and women in town here. And so I'm going to be on the lookout for a little bit more on both genders in terms of, okay, you need to be thinking about contributing back to the community. Yes, you've got your family, you've got your job probably, and a number of other things, but we all do, okay? And whether we're a stay-at-home mom or a work-at-home mom or go to work and come home mom, whatever, there are talents there that need to be shared with this community. And I'm a real believer in being involved in a community. I've lived in this town for almost 46 years, I guess it is, and so forth. And that's been number one thing I've done since day one. And I still have friends I met from the first day I was in Spokane. And we all like to give back and encourage good things in Spokane. And so, but we need to be on the lookout for some more good women to step up and maybe teach some of us guys what needs to be done too. Okay,
Yeah. Well, and certainly tell them about our organization. That's one way they can be involved. And yes, men can be involved as associates.
Yes.
And
I belong to the Ponderosa Republican Women's Club as an associate.
There you go.
And it's the first organization I've jumped at to be an associate member because I can't hold office. And so often, you know what it's like when you're involved, you get you get to go up the ladder. I can't. I love it. I love it. Great women. We had a great turnout now a week or so ago on all the local Republican candidates and everything else. And just a pleasant group. Matter of fact, it was filled to the gills with women and men who show up to support a lot of candidates running. And we've got some good candidates this year. I'm very pleased. I think you're going to see some changes coming in this area, both at the state level and at the local level, with some very smart men and women, and looking forward to that. So how can people learn more about the National Federation of Women, Republican Women?
Well, first of all, we have a website, and that's of course.
Yeah,
And
but
it's
we
easy.
all.
It's easy. It's nfrw.org.
Okay.
We are on Facebook. We are on Twitter. So
Okay.
if you go on Facebook, it's National Federation of Republican Women, and you can get contact information there. If you go on our website, then you can find a club in your area. We
Yes.
have a map, and you just click on your state and it'll take you to a club. And if there isn't one in your area, then contact us and we will get you chartered. We've chartered probably 46 new clubs across the nation so far this year.
This
And that's
year?
why I say, yes,
Wow.
just this year, there's just so much momentum. And so if ladies are interested, they can start a club if there isn't one in their area. You know,
Yes.
sometimes in some of the more rural areas, we don't have those. And also in Washington State and some of our other states, we have virtual clubs. So if there
Well,
isn't
that's
one
a
in the
good idea.
area, you can join a virtual club and they
That's-
meet that way as well.
Why are we seeing nationally and even locally, but especially nationally and statewide, more and more women stepping up and being candidates this year? I've noticed that.
Yeah. I just I think that it is time for women to get involved, and they are. And I think they found that as women, there was a time where it was more difficult to raise a family or run a successful business and be involved. That is all so acceptable. And like I mentioned, Congressman Kathy McMorris Rogers, she had all 3 of her children while she was in office as a congressperson. So we just live in a time where it is more accessible for women. And I tell you, we really need the women too. We need that perspective. The men's perspective is awesome. Women bring another perspective that's
Yes.
very important, that nurturing side. And not that men haven't been stepping up and going to those school
Right,
board
right.
meetings, but that's just, women bring that. And so it's really time for women to get involved. And I think they're recognizing that and they're getting out there.
We're seeing across the country in the Hispanic community, more and more people are feeling that they are Republicans and supporting Republican candidates. We're seeing more and more women and so forth. Yeah, a big part of that is that the Democrat Party has really taken advantage of women and minorities and others. And now those groups are looking out to see what else is out there, because it just seems to me like those numbers are rising daily.
Yeah, no, you're right. I think that's really, you hit it right there. That is the main issue. The Democrat Party of many, many years ago is not the Democrat Party today.
You're
It's a
so
crazy
right.
party.
Yep.
Yeah, and when you have immigrants coming into the country, I have a friend who came from Peru with her family, and she said they went through the whole process to become citizens. And they were told they were in a democracy, so she thought automatically that, oh, I guess I'm a Democrat. But
Yeah.
then as she learned more, she realized I'm not a Democrat. My family values, my faith, I came to this country for opportunity. I'm a Republican.
Yeah.
So I think that's also happening as well. They're dissatisfied with the Democrat Party. And we're seeing Democrats move and become Republicans.
Yeah, since you're from this state, you'll remember Tom Foley, and he and I disagreed on a lot of things politically, but he was much more open to talking with all sides. we're not seeing that. The Democrat Party has let the liberals take over. And that's a shame, because I believe in the two-party system. I think it's healthy to have a strong two-party system that can work together. I honestly believe that. We're not seeing that now. And what we're seeing, though, is we're seeing such division in the Democrat Party. They got to focus internal before they can really focus to the rest of us out there.
Yeah.
Any last thing you'd like to say?
Well, just if you are interested in being
Yeah.
part of this organization, like I said, we've been around since 1938, and we are going strong. We are creating a red wave. Get on board. We
Yeah.
want you. Just go to
Because
nfrw.org.
we want their ideas.
We want their, yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
we really do. Yeah.
Yeah.
We're
I'll
all
tell
better
you.
for it when we talk and
Yeah.
discuss ideas.
Yeah, well, we represent women of all ages, races, and religions, but our commonality is that we also believe in our Constitution,
Yes.
we believe in freedom, and we believe in opportunities. And so that's how we come together. So we're a very diverse group and very welcoming. And like I said, we also can have men as associates as well.
All right. I'll sign up as an associate, okay? You'll approve my application?
You bet.
Okay, good. Eileen, thank you very much. Would you do us a favor? Would you come back in a couple of months and we'll just talk as we get into the fall and how things are going, and then we'll talk after the election too. Because I think we'll have some good news to talk about, okay?
Yes.
All right, Eileen,
All
thank you very much.
Thank you.
Good luck in all that you're going to do in 2 years and represent Washington State well, okay?
All right. Thank you.
Thank you
I'll
very
do my
much.
best.
Thanks for watching, everybody. Talk to you next time.
All right. I can take care of that.
I don't know how long that was. It was probably